to my first kind of budget with me video. If you have been following my videos recently, I've been posting a lot about my debt journey, my credit card payoff journey, my student loans, just like this, all this money that I spent already. But I think personal finance is super, super important, and it's something that a lot of people know nothing about. We know that it's normal to have credit cards and student loan debt and just like go into debt in this capitalistic society where we have for-profit healthcare. But anyway, a lot of people just have no idea what's happening with their finances, and it's sad. And I was definitely one of them up until early this year, if you've watched my full debt journey video. But if you are following along with me on my journey, thank you so much. And if you are not, you should, because we are in this together. We're going to pay down our debts and we're going to get it done. So please subscribe to my channel if you are not already, and turn on the little bell to get notifications when I post a new video. So honestly, budgeting is the most important thing you can do, especially when you're in debt. Like, I think it's very smart and practical in general, like even if you're not in debt or not in a lot of debt, even to just stay on track, or no, to just stay on top of your finances and where your money's going, and watching your accounts to make sure that there's no fraudulent activity. Because that happened to me where I paid off a credit card and I didn't need to make payments on it anymore. I wasn't checking it very often because I wasn't using it and I didn't have a balance on it. But I went to go look just one day out of the blue and I noticed that there was like an $80 charge on there, and that was not for me, and it was fraud. So if I hadn't been checking, like, I wouldn't have even noticed, and then I would have probably built up interest on that balance I didn't even know was there because I didn't pay that, so or I didn't charge that rather. But anyway, let's get started. I use the app, the EveryDollar Budget App, and it's by Dave Ramsey, and I have the free version, but you can pay for like Ramsey Plus to get like the full-on insights of your budget. But I'm like, that's money and we don't spend money here. So I'm gonna stick with my free version, and it breaks it down by month. So you can obviously pick whatever month you're going to start your budget in, but then as you go along, when you start a new month, you can copy over the budget from last month, so it kind of gives you a starting point, and then you can go in and modify it. But the great thing about this app is it divides it into different categories. So you have your income, you have giving, so any kind of charitable donations you want to make, savings, housing, transportation, food, personal, lifestyle, health, insurance, and debt. So it divides it up by like planned and then spent, and then you put in the amounts and the titles in the different categories and all of that good stuff. But what's really nice is you have like a grid, and it'll show you like a percentage of your income of how much money is going towards what categories, and you can see for yourself just how ridiculous you are if you're ridiculous like me. So for the month of October, I have 65% of my income going towards debt. Isn't that great? Yeah, I don't think so either. All right, so I divide up my budget kind of per month, but kind of weekly, so that I always have to input something weekly. So I'm paid weekly at my job, and a lot of people are paid like bi-weekly or however that is for you. So you might want to adjust that for you personally. But for me, I put in like paycheck 1, paycheck 2, paycheck 3, paycheck 4. And when I was working my side hustle this summer, it was like a different number every time, because some weeks I would work, some weeks I wouldn't, and it was just not like a set schedule type of thing. So I would just input it by paycheck, so I could just enter in the exact dollar amount that I received on that particular paycheck. And instead of doing like income, want this big number, income 2, this big, you know. So I've got that. So I'll put in my planned kind of income listed options by the week, since that's how I was paid. And as they come in, like once it's actually received into my bank account, then I can mark it off as the amount that I've received, and then it will do like a green line, like, oh, you're good to go, it's inputted and it's been budgeted and it's been spent, but it just kind of keeps it on track for you. So I've got my housing, my rent, and oh my gosh, okay, if you live in a hot place like I live in Orlando, Florida. I'm currently in Oregon right this second, but I do live in Orlando. But our electricity bill went way up over the summer, and I'm like, we live in an apartment complex where we keep the thermostat at the same exact thing because it's like a preset thing, like we can't really change it too much. But our bill went up like $60, like, but I am trying to figure out how much to budget for like gas, because I basically had my budget at like 0 or like 20 bucks for like August and July because wasn't going anywhere, and gas was so cheap, especially in Orlando. It was like less than $2, like it was like $1.21 or something at like the lowest possible amount, I think it was. But it's gone up a bit since then. But I don't even know, like I budgeted like $60 for the month of October, and I might have to increase that depending on what's happening, because I'm not going to be commuting to work. So I don't know, I have to budget for an Uber potentially to pick me up from the airport when I fly back to Orlando. Groceries and restaurants, I was budgeting way too much for this in the beginning of when I first started budgeting. So the first time I used this app was in January of this year, and I really didn't get like the full swing of it until probably like May or June is when I was like really on top of it and consistent and in kind of forecasting the different categories. So now I have like a pretty good idea, but I know that there's like Halloween treats and goodies I'm gonna want to try at Disney World, and I get sucked in, okay? Right now for groceries, I have $267.87 budgeted, which doesn't sound like a lot, but hear me out. So I used to budget like almost $400 per month just for me. Like just for me, I'm one person. Like that is way too much to be spending on groceries for just one person when you're trying to pay off debt. Like that's ridiculous. So I used to order from HelloFresh, and I would try and make it only twice a month because it's like $60 a box, and that adds up, and you only get like, technically you get like 6 meals, but sometimes I could turn it into like 7 per box. So that's like 10 bucks a meal. That's like still pretty expensive. But it was really nice when I was trying to just learn new recipes, and especially since it got delivered during quarantine, so I didn't have to go grocery shopping. So I was paying for, what's the word? Paying for convenience. So that was nice, but I'm not doing that anymore because we're getting serious. We're not gonna be spending that much on groceries anymore. So now I do my grocery shopping at Walmart, and I buy like basic vegetables, and I make my cold brews at home. Like I made a separate video on like the best cold brew that I found from Walmart. It's literally Walmart brand, and it's like $4 for 12 cold brews, which is like insane. Like I've got secrets. I've got the in. Walmart is my place. Trying to stick with simpler recipes and not going too crazy will just save you so much money. I have $100 budgeted for restaurants, which is kind of a lot. I usually try to aim low, but sometimes there's those days when it's just like, all right, I need to get Chipotle. But I think I'm gonna lower that. I don't need to be spending $100 on eating out in the month of October. That's just like, no. We can bring that down. Clothing, I have at 0 because we're not buying more clothes. I've got my phone bill, which I'm still paying off my phone. Like I'm on a plan. I'm on the like the monthly plan, but once you make like 20 payments or whatever, then you can like upgrade your phone. But I think once I pay off like my credit cards, I want to pay off my phone and just not have like the actual phone itself on my phone bill, because that's just stupid. Like I can probably sell it for more when I want to upgrade my iPhone and then just pay for the new phone instead of dealing with like monthly payments forever. So that just doesn't make sense. I've got my Netflix and got my Spotify and my guilty pleasures. Netflix went up to $12.99 a month and Spotify is $9.99. But I also pay for, or I budget for Disney Plus because I pay for the year. So I think last November I paid like whatever, the $3.50 for the year. So I haven't been paying that monthly, but I've been like budgeting $6.99 a month so that I can pay for it again in full in when my like year is up. If you're watching this, you'll probably get mad at me for having an Amazon Prime account, but like All right, yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, I pay for the Adobe photography bundle, which is Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Lightroom, which I use on the daily. So like that's so worth it for me. That's $9.99 a month. I pay for extra iCloud storage because your girl's got 10 bajillion million trillion photos and videos that she has to store. So we need iCloud storage. Like that's just a necessity for my life. And my miscellaneous section, I have budgeted about $200. That's for things like just monthly needs, like anything that I need toiletry wise, like your girl's gotta buy tampons monthly, like what a ripoff. Random things that come up, like if it's someone's birthday, like I'll pull from the miscellaneous fund. If I need to, what did I do last month? I spent a lot of miscellaneous this month. So if I have like, just any kind of like random fees, like last month I opened up an Etsy shop, so I just had to make like, I think a little payment on something because I was opening an LLC, and then I opened a website last month, so like that is what I used like my miscellaneous fund, so I like budgeted that accordingly. But I don't know that I'll really need $200 for the month of October. I don't know what other miscellaneous things I would need. So I'm not paying for a gym because that's just a luxury. And I've got a little bit money budgeted for doctor visits because I do have some health conditions, so I do have to budget for that. Got my auto insurance. I'm paying $130 with Geico, so like I might look into Progressive because I think every 6 months like you're supposed to really look over your car insurance to just like keep up with the changing rates, and you can usually get a better deal by like switching every like few months, I think is what I've heard around the block. So I think I'm gonna look into that because that's just a lot to be paying for car insurance, especially when I'm not driving anywhere. Like, hello, rip off. Okay, so then I've still got my car payment, I've got my student loan payment, and then I've got my second student loan payment because my second student loan payment is that loan payment, or is from that student loan that I forgot about, if y'all have been following along, the one that came back to bite me. Then I've got my very last credit card. This won't be my last credit card payment, but we are really trying to snowball as much as we can. So I'm probably gonna squeeze out as much as I can from like the miscellaneous fund whenever I'm not planning to spend, squeeze out more from that fund, and I'm probably gonna shave down the restaurants fund. Like I don't want to spend $100 eating out. Like that's just ridiculous. Like I could be throwing that $100 somewhere else. So hopefully my utilities will go down this month as well. So yeah, I'm honestly hoping to even bring in some more passive income. If you don't know, I did open up an Etsy shop and I have my Lightroom presets available. I also am available for commissions on my website, self-plug, monicaspaintbrush.com. I can edit photos for you, I can create illustrations for you, which I've just recently started doing, but there's that. I finally reached 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, so I'm on my way to getting monetized. Every time you guys watch my videos, it helps me out so much, and I am so unbelievably grateful. And if you stuck around this long, like, thank you so much. But please like this video if you did enjoy it, and I will link down below all my debt links and the apps and everything I'm using so that I can help you out and we can work through this together. So let's create a happy and financially free life, people. Let's do it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.